truth to the world about our fight for freedom. Our short schedule for today, 13:30, we will have Alexander Havrilenko, the press officer of Donetsk region, and we will talk about situation in Donetsk region and preliminary conclusions of exhumation in the deoccupied Liman. At 1400, we will have Eugenia Kravchuk, Deputy Chair of the Verkhovna Rada Humanitarian and Information Policy Committee. We will talk about the establishment of Special International Tribunal for crime against Russian aggression. Right now we're having Vitaliy Kim, the military governor of Mykolaiv region. Mr. Vitaliy, hello. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, Mr. Vitaliy. Today in the morning, Kyiv was shelled by loitering drones. In the same way, yesterday we know that Mykolaiv found itself being shelled. And in the same way that this morning, please tell us what's going on in Mykolaiv region at this current moment. What are the consequences of the shellings? All right, look, we had 16. Yeah, all right. Within the last 2 days, there was 26 drones downed in general, plus 3 or 4 cruise missiles in Mykolaiv region. Three infrastructure objects were damaged. We extinguished the fire in the night. It was a sunflower seeds oil manufacturing facility. The other drones were shut down, including by the territorial defense forces who worked in mobile teams along with the armed forces of Ukraine. There were 3 objects targeted in Berznigovata regional community by S-300, and another loitering drone was shot down in the Rybakovka region. As to the critical infrastructure, does everything keeps working in Mykolaiv? The enemy tries to attack the region. We repel the attacks, and everything is 100% functional. We've seen pictures of the tanks with oil spilled over the streets of Mykolaiv after shelling. How to mitigate the consequences of such shellings, and what are the losses inflicted by occupants? The inflicted losses are not yet counted. We still try to mitigate the consequences of this catastrophe, so to say. We're trying to localize the spill of oil. That's why we will provide the information later. Also, the general staff reported the pharmaceutical facility damaged in the morning. Will it influence the situation with medication supply? No, nothing is being stored in the region within the long periods. In some storage facilities, that's why it was the transit storage facility, which was half empty, from which the dissemination of medicines was completed. We had information from open sources that the city is planning to deploy heating stations. Can you please tell us more about that, in case those stations are already deployed? There are different stations. Some of them will be heated for provision of water, and we have to envisage the heating stations as well. We will not tell as of now the number of such stations to be deployed around the city, because it's still in process. But this is actually the case. We did it before the war, but we deployed a lot less of them. Now we will have more of such stations around the city to provide people with heating. Mr. Kim, does the situation change in terms of number of population in the region? No, the number of population in the area is more or less stable, is the same. The people even keep returning, but it's a gradual process. We have positive dynamics, but not explosive. By your estimates, what's the number of people in the region for the moment? In the region? Yes, in the region. Well, I don't want to lie to you, so I don't have the current figures, so I will prepare them for the next briefings. Dear journalists, dear colleagues, your questions? Olga Panasenko, Ukrinform. Can you tell us, please, we're observing Russian shellings of Mykolaiv to be quite chaotic. So they were quite random for the purposes of terrorization of inhabitants of the city. Now we see them targeting the infrastructure and industrial objects. Hence the question, do we keep identifying the fire shelling characters, and do the people help you identify such people? Russians do it just because they can, and last week they targeted a 5-story building with this Shakid drone where people died. So we cannot tell they target the critical infrastructure objects because we shut down 80% of these drones, so we don't have understanding of what were their targets. Another question, yes, the work is in progress in all the areas. We fight the traitors, we identified the traitors, so to say, but we're on the level where we don't have to buy this information. The information is being processed immediately. Thank you, Mr. Vitaliy. Thank you for your time. Thanks for joining us. I will remind you, we had Vitaliy Kim, the military governor of Mykolaiv region. Dear colleagues, the next briefing is at 13:30. We will talk about situation in Donetsk region. Stay with us.